I'll never forget one of the March of Dimes women that came to offer support, and she said, "We're here for the silent cry." And I thought that was for me, that no one heard my cry. But then I looked at my child in that incubator crying out, and I couldn't hear him. And I realized it was both of us. And that's what March of Dimes is support, is living hope for the silent cry.
Hey, we're Rob and Dana Pate. We've been married for almost 20 years. We have 5 children, Claire McKinley, Ellie Brooklyn, Jenna Catherine, James Daniel, and John David.
Our story began July 2008 when I became pregnant again. After 3 girls, we were not expecting.
No, we were not.
Pregnancy, much less a twin pregnancy.
The first doctor's visit, I wasn't there. She went, and I was taking kids to school, and I got a phone call that said, you may want to come up here to the doctor's office because I've got some news.
I was told not to go home and research monoamniotic twins, but to come back in about 4 to 6 weeks, and they would confirm the diagnosis if they were monoamniotic twins. So I went home and went straight to Google, and what I read was scary.
So the doctor told us at that visit when we got there that in her 20 years of experience, she had never had a case, that she was not comfortable with this type of pregnancy, and so she sent us to a high-risk pregnancy center at UAB.
My initial thought was hopelessness, because I did not read a lot of information that gave me hope, and so I stayed very guarded at the beginning, initially thinking the pregnancy probably won't even continue. And then once we made it to 16 weeks is when we saw the first specialist, and he gave us the percentage of survival rates, and that we had a choice to make, that we could choose to terminate now and not have to deal with the outcome. I really felt hopeless. Every Thursday I had to come in for a visit, and they would check the growth, and he said if one baby begins to grow more or thrive more than the other baby, there's nothing they could do, because there wasn't a membrane to separate them. So if we lost one baby, we would lose both babies. There was no way to have one boy without the other. So he said, you'll either have 2 babies or you'll have no babies. And every Thursday was the visit to check the heartbeats. So every Thursday I would drive into the hospital with dread, but also peace, that it was so out of my control. There was really nothing I could do.
As the husband and the father of 3 girls, I didn't attach myself to these boys because I was fearful for the worst, and I almost took it upon myself to think that I needed to be strong because I know that there's going to be a moment where I'm going to have to be for this family of young girls that are expecting twin boys to come home, and so it was a lonely time for me.
I think during the entire journey, from the diagnosis through the waiting time into the NICU experience, the light would always come at just the right time. So whenever I would get into a place of, I don't see a light on the other side of this dark, I don't see a hope at the end, I don't know the end, but in the moment I didn't have a hope, there would always be a support. There would be somebody. There would be somewhat of a support system from the March of Dimes that would come deliver publication, magazines with stories. They would come and bring snacks and gifts and visits in the hospital with my other children.
It were things that were reminders that you're not alone in this. They were reminders that other people had been in this situation.
They have just an enormity of support for me as a mother, but then when the boys were born, there was always somebody there. There was just support surrounding us as a family, And then for their growth and development, I can't imagine us not having that support.